Hey everyone! This time we read Play Like a Feminist by Shira. So this is the second book by Shira that I've read. The first one was Ready Player 2, and I feel like this book kind of expands on some of the ideas from Ready Player 2, and I don't really like this one as much as I liked Ready Player 2, to be perfectly honest with you. While there are some messages in here that I do agree with, I don't necessarily like the language that she chooses, because what she asks for or what she's pushing in the book doesn't match up with the suggestions on how to get there, in my opinion. So she talks about wanting to destroy the video game industry, and she doesn't mean to get rid of it, she means to make it into something new. She uses the example of, destroying it and then having something new and better rise from the ashes like a phoenix. And what she asks people to do doesn't quite match up with either the destroying things or really making like it to rise from the ashes like a phoenix. It seems like more of a slow change to get more casual people into video games. So while I do like the book, I want to say that. I agree with the message that she's saying, more women need to be getting into video games, both as players and into the industry. That way they can, come up with better games and different games, because honestly, I would like something different. It kind of feels like the industry has gotten kind of stale, and maybe having new voices come in will be a good thing. What she's not actually talking about is just abolishing the video game industry or destroying it, as she's said a few times in the book. She's talking about changing people's mindsets. And she goes about doing this by saying, let's create these little gamer clubs. She compares them to the sewing clubs from early feminist days. And these gamer clubs are really kind of cool, because I always thought of it, I thought she was talking about a book club or something like that. And that is one of the examples she used to describe this, where people get together, they all play the same game, and then they just kind of talk about how they're doing with it. They talk about other things as well besides the game. They kind of help each other out. It's a cool way to think about these things, and it's kind of a nice way of going about getting more casual people into the video game industry. So I feel like the gaming group should have been more of a focus in this. They're really just in the last chapter or so of this book. I do appreciate what she does with this, where she goes through, she defines all the terms that she's talking about early on, and then she goes through kind of the wickets of the other books that I've read, where they hit on, the toxic culture around video games. They hit on, kind of the casuals versus the hardcore gaming scene. She hits on Gamergate. She hits on the moral panics and media outrage about video games. So she's hitting every single thing that I've read before, and she goes over it really quick. She talks about her personal experiences with some of it, and it's good and everything, but I just kind of think more of a focus should have been on the gamer groups, because it's clear she did a study on those, or at least set it up like it was going to be a study. So I feel like that should have been more of a focus, more upfront than kind of some of the other stuff that was in this. So throughout the book, she talks about how people need to be playing more, and she's specifically talking about feminists, but I honestly feel like this could be extended to everybody in general. So going back to the first book that I read of hers, it goes into how women use or play video games in short chunks of time. Specifically, she was looking at mobile games, and that I feel like that's kind of where she's normally going, is with mobile games. I don't like them, but that's not, they're probably just not for me. And when you go into wanting people to play more, those really work out well, and she brings that up, where just sort of those short chunks of time that you have when you're waiting in line for something, and you can just pull out your phone and tap away. Those kind of help out in order to give people a solution to play more games, or in this case to use their leisure time however they want to use it. So yeah, my final thoughts. This is a pretty good book. I still prefer Ready Player 2 more, just because I feel like that one was much more focused and its kind of bottom line was up front, if that makes any sense to anyone but me. So that's going to wrap it up, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode. It's probably going to be a little bit shorter than normal, but what are you going to do? If you have any comments, please let me know in the section below, and have a great day, everyone.